Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article real quick and also play a little bit of this here video. As you know, these food shortages or the increase of food is going up, all right? And it's not necessarily, we have a famine that's going on, but it's not necessarily a real shortage of food, all right? As we'll get into some of these things which is causing, a man-made shortage here, all right? So I'm gonna play a little bit of this here video, maybe about a minute or so this here video, then we'll read through this here quick article, all right? This is from the Silver Report down here at the bottom.
Chain disruptions. An interesting point before we get into this story about Kimberly Clark. Did you know?
And they're going to touch on two different things here that's going on, but just to show you, how these things have this trickle down effect, all right?
As of September 9th, there is now a mandate that could essentially eliminate 30% of semi-truck drivers in America. 30%. Now, if we are having all of these supply chain issues, how in the world would anybody think it's a good idea to force 30% of semi-truck drivers to quit? And if anybody's been paying attention, this has been a major talking point. The whole semi-truck driver shortage and how much they're paying these people for loads, all of this moving forward. At the end of the day, as we see all of these innovations and developments happening, they seem to be focusing on developing autonomous big rigs, but they don't have that yet. Not too long ago, they were saying they were going to be knocking on the door of the shipping companies to get them to operate faster, to fix the supply chain issues. But then we have this deadline coming up in which we're going to see a large portion, a third of American truck drivers out of service all at once. Obviously, it's going to get worse as regards to the prices, in regards to the inflation, in regards to the shortages. And somebody shared this with me. They've been putting up pictures in Tesco.
We're going to go into the second topic real quick, but just as we see with these mandates and things coming down the pipeline, and a lot more of these truckers leaving the workspace and things like that, man, you have to understand how that's going to start having effects. If you have, you're trying to ship, let's say you have a warehouse full of goods, and you're trying to move things out, it's going to take you only have one truck to move it. It's going to take you a lot longer to get those products from the warehouse to the store. Now you have multiple trucks, they get there a lot quicker. All right. But nevertheless you take that same analogy and you may have the trucks, but if you don't have the drivers, then you're limiting the amount of loads that can be driven, which is increasing the amount of time, all right, to get products from the warehouse to the storefront, which in turn is going to just raise the prices of things. All right. Now, here's another more importance of this. We've also seen this as well, and then I'll try to make it a little bigger. I can't make it full screen, but you can kind of see the picture down here. What they're going to go into is pictures of food over the shelves where the food should be at, all right? And he'll talk about a little bit of it.
I think this was in the Zone, I'm not sure, or in UK, but they were putting up pictures in Tesco to represent the asparagus, the oranges, because they didn't have the fresh vegetables. I'm shocked that the people in power are doing this, because if you take us, if you've been watching some of my videos, I just went through a fresh market that was completely filled to the brim with fresh vegetables. Unlimited fresh vegetables, they're pretty cheap, a good price, tons of meat everywhere, beef.
Right. And so, some places like, you see in those pictures like that, they are reporting, shortages like that, and they have these pictures up. All right. And this isn't the first case or the first sign that we've seen of these things. All right. So let's get into this here article real quick, real short article. Let me get this off the screen. All right. It says one more sector of UK economy hit with severe labor shortages. All right. Now, in this here article, they're going to mention a process that they're doing with their food, which is also causing it's going to get back into that same loop of, all right, well, less people driving trucks, which is going to increase the shipping costs of these things. But then also in this other process that they're doing, all right, is just raising the regular price of the food all the way around. So, again, not necessarily saying that there's a shortage of food, I wish there are in some places, but nevertheless, this is all being created man-made, all right? It says the severe labor shortage that has hit the UK in the past few months has reportedly forced local meat processors to export carcasses for butchering and then transport them back to Britain for sale. All right. And so, look, there you go. You have this type of, production that they're using. All right. But nevertheless, America does the same thing. All right. They'll take something they have here, ship it somewhere else to have it processed, and then bring it back here to America to sell it to these Americans, man. All right, which they do this with a lot of different products, not just food. All right, which is causing the price of it to go up. All right, you already have something here. All right, I don't know. We'll take a simple example. You go to the grocery store and you go buy you some food or something. Let's say you go get you some fish, right? And you want to bake the fish, but then you go across the street to the grocery store, get the fish, then you ship it to, let's say, China or somewhere like that for them to bake the fish, and then you have to have it sent back unto you to get the fish. All right. So now the initial cost of the fish, let's say, was $5, $10 at the store, right? But then now, how much are you paying for it to be shipped to China, for it to be baked in China, then for them to ship it back to you? All right, that might be 4 or 5 times the price of the actual fish from just buying it across the street and you doing it yourself. All right. So it says severe labor shortages have hit the UK in the past few months, have reportedly forced local meat processors to export carcasses for butchering and transport them back to Britain for sale. The British Meat Processor Association warned back in September of likely needs to send meat abroad for scrapping. The process is now happening, the trade association said via its Twitter account. The measures come amid a serious shortage of labor, which have attributed to both uh, the pandemic and outward migration after the UK department departure from the EU. According to the BMPA, beef is currently being sent to the Republic of Ireland, while pork producers have been exporting pigs to the Netherlands for butchering and packing. All right. And so, again, like I said, this is just like you buying your normal food at the grocery store and sending it to, let's say, China or somewhere, Mexico, Canada, for them to cook it and send it back to you, man. Hell, if you had to send it to a whole nother state, man, that would be, or even if you had to put it in the mill and send it down the block to your homie's house, you still have to pay for shipping, which is going to raise the price of the food, man. All right. So you just think about that. You can go find something, hell, even if you got, something that costs you $1 at the store, by the time you get it back, is now cost you a process of $10 to $20 to send it all the way around just to get it back to you. All right. It says the introduction of the post-Brexit controls on the import of food and animal products in the UK have been delayed until July 2022, but meat exports from Britain has to undergo checks in the EU. The BMPA said this will add an extra 1,500 pounds of cost to each lorry load of carcasses, and moreover, that produce transported in this way was not permitted to be labeled as Britain if it was intended for sale in the UK. So that's just going into that. Um, oh, here we go. Here's something else I wanted to read. It says, due to the severe shortage of staff at arbitrators, the meat processing plants, nearly 10,000 animals so far have so far had to be disposed of before reaching the food chain, according to the statement issued by the National Pig Association. It said its staff numbers in the sectors were down by some 15%. So, not only, just think of this whole process, right? You have food being manufactured or produced in certain places, right? Now, let's just say all of a sudden you have, what is this, pigs or beef, 10,000 different animals have to be, killed basically. All right. You're not going to make no profit off of that. Now, think about that. You have to sit there and feed these pigs or cows or whatever it is the whole time to get them up to maturity and the sale rate and everything. So that's a cost right there, just to house the animals, feed the animals, transport the animals. But now you have to kill them off. All right. That's already a cut in your budget. So, you're not making no money back off of that. All right. But then, you have to, if you're in one location, in order for them to sit there and trim it up and cut it down and package it all up, you have to send it to a whole nother place. All right. And then have it shipped back onto you with there already being upping in the price of shipping. And then also, a transport, how you say, people leaving the transporting sector. So you have less people out there transporting these things, which is further raising the price of these things amid energy crisis. All right. So your food, people really don't see these things. They go to their grocery stores and they see things, on the shelves and everything is there and everything else like that. Not really shortages and things like that at their places, but it hadn't quite reached you yet. But there's a multiple things that's going on in the background that's stacking up the odds against you. Like they're saying, the shortage of the truck drivers, the coming mandates further on to those workers and things like that, them having to ship meat out to other places and bring it back. All right. And then that's putting even more things into the shipping supply that wasn't being shipped beforehand. And it's already a strained supply. All right. So Come on. Let's jump into some scriptures here. It says, Ecclesiastes 12:1, it says, remember now thy created in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasures in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the window be darkened, and the doors be shut in the streets. All right, and when the sound of grinding is low. So you have a lot of these different companies, first of all, being shoved out of business, let's just say in the farming and agriculture departments, like they're saying, as the cost of operation is far exceeding the return on investment and the profits that we'll be making out of these things. Let's say you're doing all this here work to make $10, but it's going to cost you $100 just to make this. So you're pretty much in the hole. All right. Well, yeah, pretty much you're in the hole. You're spending more money than what you're going to actually make back. Nobody would ever do anything like that. You wouldn't go and invest into something. You wouldn't go and buy, let's say, a painting for $10 or for $100 and then try to resell it and only get $10 out of it. You'd be in the hole after a while, you'd be bankrupt. All right. But nevertheless, these are the things that's coming down the pipeline, man. All right, so a lot of these farmers and people that tend to livestock and stuff like that, they're realizing that if we got to keep killing these animals at this here rate, we didn't already fed them and everything else like that, and we're not gonna make no money off of it. How long can we sustain this, man? All right, we might as well just shut down. And what was America wind up doing? There's some of these big people like your Bill Gates and all them. They was buying up a lot of this farmland and stuff like that. China buying up one of the biggest meat producers in America, man. All right, and so what they wind up doing is, housing the stuff over here, shipping it over there to be processed, and then shipping it back to you again on a laggy how you call it transport system, more or less to say. All right, the shipping process is being held down and slowed down and things like that. So it's they're charging up extra prices for that, man. And like I said, this makes no sense for you to go to the grocery store, all right, and buy some food and then have it shipped somewhere else for them to cook it and ship it back unto you, man. That doesn't make any sense. All right. And hell, we know about that on a small scale here. Sometimes you can go to, let's say, for instance, they have a little restaurant, an Italian restaurant or something, right? You can go get you some damn spaghetti, right, and have it made there and have them deliver it to you. Now, that spaghetti might cost you, like, by the time it's all said and done, by the time it get to your house, might cost you $20, $25. It might be in a restaurant for like $12 or something like that. But then they might charge you another 12 or 10 to $12 to deliver the food, right? Now you didn't spend $25 on some damn spaghetti when you could have went to the grocery store. It would have been a lot cheaper for you to drive to the store than for them to deliver the food. But then not only that, it would have been a lot cheaper for you to buy the products to sit there and put the food together. All right, make the spaghetti at home. You know what I'm saying? You may have spent all of, let's say, $10 or so on all the supplies on getting some spaghetti, maybe even less than that. All right. But nevertheless, you come home and cook it, spend a little bit of time, you still up like 15, $20 or $15. All right. So this is coming to a grinding halt, man. You're a regular everyday person. This is why people don't just go out to eat every single day like that, because eventually it will bankrupt them. All right. But let's continue on. Let me go from there to Second Ezra 6:22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right, let me read the next verse. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. And so as we see these mandates are coming down the pipeline, and I believe they're trying to have everything in place by, what was the date, January 4th or something like that, somewhere in January, I believe. All right, they want to have this in full effect, and they're coming out with more and more mandates as the days progress. All right, I just seen an article about these kids and how they're starting to require them to show their proof now that they've been added to the list of people that can participate. Now they're saying in certain places they have to show proof that they participated in public areas. All right, they didn't mention schools, but that's next on the list. All right, but nevertheless, when you have more and more of these mandates take effect, all right, it's going to put a further strain on the truckers, further strain on the people working in these warehouses and distribution hubs, and also in the grocery stores and also in the factories, man, that's producing these things, man. This is why there's a lot of things coming to a standstill, all right, on that area. But not to mention you have other things like these people shipping meat to other places and to get them to be manufactured or packaged and things like that, and then shipping them back already on the strain shipping line and everything else like that, amongst all the shortages. So what do you think is going to happen to the price of food and everything, man? All right, everything is going to start going up. The shelves are going to be more and more bare. All right. And so this is going to cause, people to go into turmoil. All right. First of all, they're already pissed that they may or may not have a job. All right. Their buying power is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. The price of food is going up. And then there's a scarcity of certain things on the shelves, man. All right. Verse 24 says, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So, in your normal grocery store lobbies and things like that, it's going to start getting a lot hectic, man. All right, when people are looking at the prices of food as they're going up, prices of meat, people are going to start spazzing out like, how y'all raising the price on this, and just start going ham, man. All right, they got in certain places like California where it's not really a felony to steal something less than $950. All right, and you having more and more reports of people that are just going up into these different stores like Walgreens and stuff with bags. Like they like it's not like they just going in there and stealing some little petty shit off the shelf, some makeup or something like that, and walking up out of there, man. All right, they going up into these stores and they're grabbing, what they would consider things of quote unquote value. All right, but when it comes down to your straight bare necessity of food and water and toiletry and things like that, man. And you seen what happened with the toilet paper crisis, man. All right, people are going to start fighting one another just for these limited resources. All right, or they may have the resources. All right, because what's the difference between the shelves being empty and you can't buy anything because they ain't got nothing in the store, or a goddamn can of Campbell's soup that's $1 million on the shelf? There could be a whole grocery store full of Campbell's soup. All right, in the midst of people starving and things like that, but every single can is $1.5 million of food in there. All right, in a normal sense, nobody will buy that because they couldn't afford it. What do you think it's going to turn into, man? All right, if there's no resources and people can't get none, people going to start robbing one another for the resources that they got. If everything is so far priced out of the range where people can't afford it, i.e. a whole grocery store full of food, but the cheapest thing in there is $1.5 million, people going to fight over that, man. They going to disregard. Well, we'll grab that. Matter of fact, this is uh well, let me read all of this because you gonna have certain laws in place, but they're not gonna really care about these laws. And plus, they're creating a scenario to where it's basically like lawlessness anyway. All right, what do you think? What do you think is the problem, reaction, solution to they want the solution is we want to create a purge like scenario. All right, so first we have to create a problem. The problem is uh, um, we have a scenario where it's like people can't really afford things or they don't have the jobs and certain things when they're going to go out to try to steal. But what's holding them back from that is, well, we don't want to go to jail for this little petty bullshit. Well, we'll just raise up the price of what it is to which you can steal, to a higher level. So pretty much anything in this here store, any one single item in this store wouldn't total up to that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, you can really spend $1,000, or you can spend $1,000, let's say in a dollar store or something like that. But if you buy enough items, but however, there ain't nothing in the dollar store that's $1,000 one single item. You see what I'm saying? So this is creating the conditions for what the solution. The solution is an all-out anarchy and purge, man. Again, which you got a lot of these police officers leaving their jobs, all right, putting a strain on the 911, phone line and everything else like that, and crime, not being really checked like that because it's like, well, that's not that serious of a crime. We don't have that many officers to go out there for some little petty shit, them robbing the damn Walgreens and the Target. We ain't got the cops for that, the resources for that. So whatever. So what's the solution? All right, the solution is more people who don't have the resources going to go out there and start fighting for these resources, man. All right, so let's read it. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So hey, these people gonna be going out there with their their guns, their weapons, all kind of little things like that to fight it out for these scarcity of these resources, man. All right, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. All right, and what you already see in these things starting to happen, man. Like I said, out there in California and stuff, they got they've changed the laws to where, again, you can steal up to $950 worth of goods, and it's not really a felony on those things. And then they saying, look, We can call the cops, but 9 times out of 10, the police ain't even gonna show up, man. So this could be somebody's everyday job is just going to the damn store, hitting a lick for like $800, $900, coming back out, going home, stocking it up, going right back to the grocery store and doing it again, coming back home, unloading, going right back to the grocery store and doing it again. Because why? They know that they ain't gonna really call the police, and if they do, the police ain't really coming. And if the police do really come, they're not really gonna take you downtown for that anyway, man. All right. So this is creating a scenario of like the purge. All right. Verse 16, again, it says, "For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions will stand in their power." And, we're really one catastrophe away from this being the sentiment of all Americans, man. They've already been beat down. They've already been demoralized to the point it's like, look, man, y'all said if we stayed home for 14 days, we can get back to normal. Y'all said if we wore these masks, we could get back to normal. Y'all said if we got herd immunity and the majority of us participated, we could all get back to normal. But now y'all saying we got to keep getting these add-ons and these DLC packs added on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep saying this until indefinite. All right. And not only that, you got like shortages and everything going around. You got all these people leaving their jobs and not enough people to work all these things. So forget about opening back up because we got a social distance and people ain't really scared about getting infected and things like that no more. It's more or less the economy collapsing that they more worried about. That's the things that they're more fearing about, man. How the hell are we gonna eat? All right, because when it comes to survival, man, when you run out of resources, man, you're not really worried about going out to the club and going to party and going to the movies and shit like that. And ain't nobody really caring about that type of stuff no more, man. They're caring about, hey, are we gonna be able to get food from the grocery store, man? All right. Continuing on, it says, verse 17, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." All right. And hey, there's multiple different things and reasons that these how you say, not to say quarantine checkpoints, but they could pretty much cordon off a city and things like that, man. Hey, you got a lot of dumb internet famous people that like to go on internet and show off everything that they got. When you have reports of the shelves are empty and they got pictures up over here on the grocery store shelves and everything else like that, and ain't no more food, not grocery stores, and people uploading images of that to put the news out, you're going to have some dumbasses going to run down to their grocery store and videotape. Look at our grocery store. Everything is fresh. Everything is full. Everything is here. The prices is cheap. What you think is going to happen? The people that's over there hurting with the lack of resources going to find out where you at and come in and take all your resources, man. All right, because they've already bought out their stores and you over here putting up where you at. And the same with the things that you got in your house, man. So your own neighbors, your own friends, the people that you know and you in contact with, they're gonna just start running through your shit because they know you got it, man. All right, nobody gonna go and rob a spot that's already empty, man. All right, they're gonna go rob the spot that's got something in there. All right. So it says, verse 18, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." And again, man, it's not going to take nothing for, like I said, you got a lot of these losers out here that just always want to fight back against anything. You'll see people post certain things on the internet, certain videos on the internet, and then you'll always have one person that's going to always come in with some kind of content or something like that, man. All right. And it's just like, they always got to say something, quote unquote negative about this scenario or something like that. It's always like, why would you even inject this type of stuff? Why would you put this type of thing out there? You killing a so-called good thing. We just watching something for kicks and giggles, and then all of a sudden you come and you spread this here shit. So these same people gonna be there when people are reporting that there ain't no food in certain places, right? Then they gonna go rush out to their little spots. See, we got it. They over here spreading fear and everything else like that, not knowing they just put a target on their own back. All right, let's continue on. Verse 19. "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." And I just gave you a proper scenario of that scenario happening, man. All right, your grocery stores is out of food, and you posting up on that. What are we gonna do? And all these things is getting hard out here. I can't believe the government is allowing this to happen. And you sad and sobbing, and then you got these people on the other end of the YouTube that want to counter all that. Oh, stop with the negativity. Stop spreading fear and everything. Now they posting up their grocery stores. Shit, now they finna go roll over on your shit, man. All right, you in your house, now they're gonna come and take your stuff, man. All right, you live in a neighborhood and everything else like that, and you see that, the people that have versus the have-nots, man. You start running up into their house, man. All right, to go grabbing all their food and everything else like that, man. So all of a sudden, because of this food supply debacle that's going on, whether it be in the shipping or whether it be them having to kill off the animals or them having to ship these products to one place to get not to say that we're packaged in to get prepped and packaged. All right, they got to send these food products off to get prepped and packaged and then sent back. All right, all these things is creating a perfect storm for empty shells, people fighting over a lack of resources. All right, all these different things like that, man. So these Americans are already on edge with one another, and they're already looking at the ones that participated versus those that didn't, and saying that those folks are the enemies. And not even really knowing that all this is coming from up on top, man. All right. Again, those that didn't participate aren't the ones that sending food that's already being produced over here to somewhere else to raise up the price of that just to get it packaged and cut down and just to bring it back over here. Those that didn't participate aren't the ones that shutting down these businesses and things like that and calling off labor and things like that, man. It's coming from up on top, man. You dealing with the damn devil, man. But these are the times that we're coming into, man. These are the times that people are hoping that things are going to bounce back and get better. It's only going to get worse, man. And every day as we look at the news and the news headlines and these new videos coming out, man, it's just worse and worse and worse. Like the scripture says, it's going to be a time of trouble such as never has been since there was a nation. And let me grab this and close out because it kind of says the same thing. But, hey, man, we got to get up out of here, man. All right? And we'll close with this in Matthew 24 and verse 21. Let me get there real quick. Matthew 24 and verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. All right. And so these are the times that we're coming in right now, man. Amongst, people having, a lack of resources to go out and get food and things like that. And, some places, due to weather and certain things like that where crops wound up being destroyed and animals, certain things like that where they actually had to get rid of certain things. Now all of a sudden, because you can't ship and move animals, you gotta and produce, you gotta just trash it and kill them all off, man. All right. So, hey, man, this is a time like it ain't never been before, man. All right. The wheels of this place is slowly coming to a stop, man. All right. Matthew 24 and 21 again. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. All right, so we're coming into the darkest days that there's ever been. Verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. All right, and going into that, man, it's the hours aren't getting shorter and shorter, but like I just said, man, every day we wake up, we see new mandates, new changes, new this and new that coming out down the pipeline, man. These prophecies are speeding up, man. They're coming to pass faster and faster and faster. And we know, what you can read about in the book of Revelation, chapter 13 down, starting at verse 16 on down. All right, that's one of the last and final prophecies, and we see in this prophecy running off the page right about now, man. So we know that the end is here, man. All right, we're right here at the end all be all. So we know that when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High is going to rain it upon him. Talking about those thermonuclear missiles, but nevertheless, these final prophecies are coming. Like I said, they're running off the page and they're running directly to you at full pace, man. All right, it says, and except those days should be shortened. All right, going into the prophecies coming faster and faster, there shall be no flesh saved. So if we was to continue on, if you was to take the Most High and Yahweh Shah, the truth out of this whole thing, and let's just say the whole world was just naturally just running like this with no spiritual connection at all, the way things would be going, man, nobody would be able to afford anything. Everybody would be all, poked up. Nobody would be able to afford anything. People would just be dying of starvation, man. All right, people would be dying of lawlessness. People just out there just ravaging one another and spoiling each other's houses for the lack of goods and things like that, man. All right, there would be all out chaos, man. All right, so hey, man, at the water Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that the Most High and His Son do exist. There is a plan and there's a way out for the elect, man. Because like the scriptures say, and except those days should be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved. All right, but what does it say? But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for giving us His love and His mercy and His insight to this here truth, man. All right. Because without him, hey, we would be done for, man. All right, look at the rest of these people out here, man. They done for, man. So, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. All right, give a double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and our will. And citation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong and shalom.